at no bond for 72 hours,
Yes,
is that right?
Yes, correct.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you.
And authorities in Ohio say the man who allegedly rammed his car into a sheriff's deputy, killing him, did so intentionally. The suspect appearing in court today is the father of an 18-year-old killed in an officer-involved shooting on Thursday. The suspect charged with aggravated murder. Here's ABC's Christian Cordero.
Tonight, authorities say the shooting of an 18-year-old captured on police body cam is connected to the death of an Ohio deputy after that teen's father allegedly hit him with a car a day later. Prosecutors say the attack was calculated and premeditated. Cincinnati PD responding to reports of a stolen Kia at an apartment building Thursday morning. 4 suspects then fleeing police. Among them, 18-year-old Ryan Hinton. Body camera shows Hinton fall as he tries to run away. Police say they heard a metal clinking sound they believe was a gun.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun! On your right! He's got a gun!
As Hinton emerges from behind a dumpster, authorities say, another officer firing 4 or 5 shots.
The officer says that he saw the suspect point the firearm at him.
Yes. Just 6 seconds passed between when police arrived and gunshots rang out. Officials say they tried administering medical aid. Hinton was struck twice and died. Investigators saying this gun was recovered from the scene allegedly found in Hinton's possession. On Friday, a day after that shooting and 2 hours after the Hinton family reviewed the body camera footage, according to the family's lawyer, a driver crashing a car into a Hamilton County deputy directing traffic near a commencement ceremony, killing him. The suspect, authorities say, is Ryan Hinton's father, Rodney Hinton Jr. Hinton's attorney calling the officer's death a horrific tragedy. At his first court appearance today, Hinton walked through a room packed with law enforcement. He's now charged with aggravated murder. With the Hamilton County Sheriff says the deputy's death was a tremendous loss. Hinton Jr. is currently being held on no bail. His bond hearing scheduled for Tuesday.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49, and verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He crouched as a lion. And as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? Shalom, shalom, Akim. I'm going to start by giving our praises, glory, and honor to Lord Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakadash. My name is Brother Napak from the Camp Prophets in Babylon, down here in Tampa, Florida. And I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone who teach and rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the ones listening in. And as you've seen it, with the video I just, put up front. All right, you got Jake, getting what Jake will call their get back. All right, on an officer. All right. That killed his son. All right. And you starting to have, a lot of, incidents where Jake is starting to, retaliate. All right. Against Esau. You got the guy, Carmelo Anthony, if I pronounce his name right. All right. That killed the one Edomite at the track meet. And then, you got Jake, calling it a self-defense. And you got Esau going against it and saying, there's no reason for him. But it's all racial. You having that race tension, all right? Going out, throughout Babylon, man. All right? And then, you going back to the old ways of Jacob versus Esau, Because, like I said, there's a lot of tension, going around with the whole race thing, with Esau and Jacob. All right, now you got Jacob. They're getting roused up, man. For a minute, you had Jake. They wasn't really trying to do much, or, Jake wasn't trying to, retaliate or go back and forth. They want to just, every now and then they would do a protest, when something happens. All right, but now you got Jake that's starting to retaliate, man. All right, because Jake is starting to get tired of it. All right, and they're starting to rouse up and come against Esau. All right, and, this Jake, he didn't care about, the sentence that he was going to get in court. Ultimately, in his mind, this devil just, slayed his son. All right. Shot him 4 times, man. That's a guaranteed kill. It wasn't one time or, anything, These devils made sure they killed that man. All right, which the boy was 18 years old. All right, so he wasn't even that old yet. He wasn't, he just became, an adult, all right, in Esau society. All right, and they already take his life, man. All right. So now Jake is getting roused up, and Jake is starting to get tired of this shit, man. Jake's starting to, see these devils for who they really are, man. And they starting to retaliate against these devils, against Satan, man. Which is not the right way. All right. But our people are too ignorant to see the right way. All right. They can't understand the right way. So now they're doing it, through, picking up Esau's weapons, all right, and brutal force, which will only, cause race wars and, ultimately is going to lead into Jacob's trouble, man. All right, because when Jacob's trouble does pop off, guess who's going to be in trouble? As the name implies, Jacob. Jacob's going to be in trouble. And a lot of the Edomites, Esau, Edom, they're going to be coming up against Jake, man. All right? Coming down like a flood upon Jake. All right? And them devils are going to try that with the prophets and the men of the Lord. All right? And they're going to be, terribly, disappointed. All right? Because the Lord's going to deliver his men. Now, the rest of these Jake, the Lord's going to let you have your way with them. All right, because Jake been going off. Jake is in sin, man. All right. But as of right now, this timing, this current time that we're in right now, Jake is starting to rouse up, man. Jake is starting to, get pissed off. All right. Now I'm going to bring this back. This is Genesis 49 verse 9 says, Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art grown up, and stooped down, and he crouched as a lion. And as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? And Esau is the one rousing Jake up right now, man. All right? Because now Jake is starting to, like I said, they're starting to get tired, man, of just, letting Esau slide with his wickedness, man. All right? And they getting away with it. These devils getting away with it, man. So, that father, he seen it. He was like, man, they letting this nigga get away with this after murdering my son, for thinking he had a gun. All right. And so Jake, went and took matters into his own hands, man. All right. Made sure the devil paid for it. And, now you got Jake in court. He's sizing up all the, police. Looking at them crazy, Best believe they probably gonna jump him. Or do something to him in that jail or in that prison cell. All right. But Jake don't care, man. And Jake, because you seen Esau looking at him, man. You seen Esau sizing him up, looking at him crazy, because he just killed their co-worker. All right. But that damn devil, ultimately, he got what was coming for him, man. All right. Jake's starting to get tired of it. Let's get this. Adversary. Adversary, the devil. I want to get in the NOT, actually. This is 1 Peter chapter 5. And hold on. There we go. Chapter 5, verse 8, it says, stay alert. Watch out for your great enemy. Who's the great enemy, man? Esau Edom, the devil. All right, that's our great enemy, and the reason why it's called Esau our great enemy, because from the beginning Esau sought out to slay us, man. All right, let's get that real quick. I'm gonna bring that back, but I want to get this real quick, because from the beginning Esau has been trying to slay Jacob. This is Genesis chapter 27 verse 41. It says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. So, Jacob, got the blessing that, Isaac was going to give Esau, but which is all of the Lord's will. All right. Esau hated Jacob for that. All right. Esau hated Jacob. And it says, and Esau said in his heart, in his mind, all right, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. All right. So from the beginning, like I said, Esau's mind is to slay his brother Jacob. All right. So it's a part of their nature, man. It's a part of their character. It's what they do, man. Esau's been waiting to slay Jacob. And every chance that Esau get, he's going to slay Jacob. It says, I want to get in the NLT. It says, from that time on, Esau hated Jacob because their father had given Jacob the blessing. And Esau began to scheme. I will soon be mourning my father's death. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. All right, so Esau, like I said from the beginning, was set out to kill Jacob, to kill Jake. All right. These devils are seeking, all right, to shed Jake's blood, man. All right, and that's the spirit on all Esau, man. It's just we're not in the environment where Esau can fulfill his plans and his schemes. All right, that's why Esau's going to bring that environment. All right. That's why Esau is going to, when all hell break loose, it's going to be blackouts, all types of different things, going on, race wars. Esau is going to carry out those schemes, man. Esau going to use those weapons that's been sitting, up in his, basement somewhere. All those weapons that he's been collecting, he's been buying, all right. He's been, target practicing with. Ultimately, to slay you, Jake. Ultimately, to take Jake out. All right? So you got this whole thing. And right now, Jake, like I said, there's a lot of tension right now. And Jake is getting pissed, man. You had the lady, damn, man. I forgot her name. But, we just did a lesson on her earlier this week. All right, but this lady, she had, called, a Jake, kid, a nigger, man. All right. And with that being said, she done raised up, what, $700K now? On, I think it was GoFundMe. All right, she raised up $700K. All right, from calling that little boy a N-word, man. And it's messed up. All right, it's messed up because Jake, Jake, is like, they feel mocked right now. All right, they feel like, why is she getting paid this much for, talking to a boy like that, man? So Jake is getting pissed. All right, but Esau, I believe, best believe Esau the one that's giving her that money, man. Putting that money in her GoFundMe, because that's Esau showing that, okay, y'all want to mess with us? This is our get back. All right, for Carmelo Anthony killing, I believe his name was Austin. All right. And if I'm wrong, Bob Shaw, correct me if that's not his name. All right. But yeah, man. So Esau, you know, now there's tension between the two. All right, and ultimately it's gonna continue out into race wars, man. All right, and all these other different nations are gonna join in it too, because the scripture says nation against nation. That's another prophecy. Let's get that. It's in Matthew. This is Matthew 24 and verse 7 says, "For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. All right. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." So nation's going to rise against nation. All right. That's what you have right now. You know, Judah rising up against Esau. All right. And that's all Esau wanted, is for Judah to rise up against them. All right. So it gives them, you know, the reason to take Jake out. That's why we tell Jake, man, you know, that's not the way, bro. You can't fight fire with Esau, man. You take upon their weapons, these motherfuckers got bigger weapons, better weapons. All right? Airstrikes. They bomb your whole neighborhood, man. These devils are so damn crafty, man. All right? They won't, you know, have Jake, you know, Jake will try to come up against Esau, and it's going to be all of a trap. He's going to make some way, you know, to trap Jake. All right? And you had that with, if you ever watch Birth of a Nation, man, you know, if brothers haven't, you know, I recommend brothers do, man. It's a powerful movie. All right? But at the end of that movie, you know, it's going to be a spoiler alert for those who didn't watch it, but you should have been really watched it. At the end of that movie, you had Jake that was, they went into, one of the plantations, you know, to pile up, you know, and stock up on weapons and, you know, ammunition and all these different things, so they could continue to go against Esau and kill Esau. But Esau already knew what their plan was. All right, so once Jake, you know, finished whooping Esau ass, and they got to the ammunition and the guns and all these different, you know, all the weapons, they look into the boxes and there was no weapons there. Everything was gone. It was a trap. And then they start bringing out, you know, the street sweeper on them, man. They start, you know, mowing Jake down. But best believe, in this time and era, it's going to be a lot worse than that. All right? So Jake may put up a little bit of a fight, but it's not going to be for long. Jake won't be able to carry that out for long. You know, and ultimately, Jake, you know, Esau going to use his military to mow Jake down, man. All right? Now, let me go ahead and finish this, and I'm going to close out with this. You know, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. It says, 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8, "Stay alert. Watch out for your great enemy, the devil," which we just, you know, brought that out. You know, our great enemy is Esau Edom, the devil, Satan. All right, it says, "He prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour." All right? So he's prowling around like a roaring lion, looking for somebody to devour, man. Waiting for Jake to act up. Waiting for Jake to get stupid. All right? They said that, you know, they heard, you know, Jake fell down on the floor, and they thought they heard a gun. They thought they heard a gun clink, so they just started blowing holes into Jake, man. And murdered him, man. All right? You know, but you know, ultimately, but they ain't hear that, man. You know, they just wanted a reason to kill Jake, man. They wanted a reason to blow Jake. All right? That's why the scripture says, stay alert. Stay alert, man. Understand what times we're in. Understand, you know, and that's why the man of the Lord, all right, we're going to be getting out of so many situations because we're going to be alert. With the faith and the knowledge and wisdom and understanding we have, we're going to also be alert. All right, and the Lord's going to be getting us out of situations, and we ain't going to be getting ourselves into situations. All right? So, hey, man, you know, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect and the ones listening again. You know, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Kakadash, once again. Dip our honor to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, who teach them well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom. I'm going to play this video one last time. I'm going to get out of here.
We can hold him at no bond for 72 hours, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you.
And authorities in Ohio say the man who allegedly rammed his car into a sheriff's deputy, killing him, did so intentionally. The suspect appearing in court today is the father of an 18-year-old killed in an officer-involved shooting on Thursday. The suspect charged with aggravated murder. Here's ABC's Christian Cordero.
Tonight, authorities say the shooting of an 18-year-old captured on police body cam is connected to the death of an Ohio deputy after that teen's father allegedly hit him with a car a day later. Prosecutors say the attack was calculated and premeditated. Cincinnati PD responding to reports of a stolen Kia at an apartment building Thursday morning. 4 suspects then fleeing police. Among them, 18-year-old Ryan Hinton. Body camera shows Hinton fall as he tries to run away. Police say they heard a metal clinking sound they believe was a gun.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun! On your right! He's got a gun!
As Hinton emerges from behind a dumpster, authorities say, another officer firing 4 or 5 shots.
The officer says that he saw the suspect point the firearm at him.
Yes. Just 6 seconds passed between when police arrived and gunshots rang out. Officials say they tried administering medical aid. Hinton was struck twice and died. Investigators saying this gun was recovered from the scene allegedly found in Hinton's possession. On Friday, a day after that shooting and 2 hours after the Hinton family reviewed the body camera footage, according to the family's lawyer, a driver crashing a car into a Hamilton County deputy directing traffic near a commencement ceremony, killing him. The suspect, authorities say, is Ryan Hinton's father, Rodney Hinton Jr. Hinton's attorney calling the officer's death a horrific tragedy. At his first court appearance today, Hinton walked through a room packed with law enforcement. He's now charged with aggravated murder.
Look how those devils looking at him, man. You know. They're looking at him.
With the Hamilton County Sheriff says the deputy's death was a tremendous loss. Hinton Jr. is currently being held on no bail. His bond hearing scheduled for Tuesday.
Shalom Akim.